Alright, we've got a quote here from Macduff. All my pretty ones, did you say all? Why is he so upset here? Well, his wife and children have been killed. Macduff has gone down to England to raise an army against Macbeth, and Macbeth has suspected that he's doing this. So sent soldiers round to his place, tried to find Macduff. Macduff isn't there, so what's he done is slaughtered his wife and children instead. Ross has come down to England to tell Macduff that this has happened, and this is a reaction. So let's have a little look at this quotation. Firstly, we've got the repetition of all, which is emphasising his shock and horror. This is not the only time in the play that we see Macduff acting with shock and horror. We see, oh, horror, horror, when Macduff finds Duncan's body towards the start of the play. We've also got bleed, bleed, poor country, and oh, Scotland, Scotland, when Malcolm's kind of toying with him, really, saying that he's going to be an even worse king than Macbeth, just to test Macduff's loyalty. And Macduff passes it by screaming out in anguish, in horror, about what's happening to Scotland. So we see him quite emotional a lot and reacting with his emotions. These emotions are obviously genuine and honest and what we'd expect from someone who's just lost his family. We've got here the word pretty ones. I think Shakespeare uses pretty there as a delicate adjective which emphasises the vulnerability and innocence of the wife and children. We see that in the scene itself as well when they're murdered, but we've got it here, my pretty ones. It really juxtaposes what has happened to them. And of course we see the repeated interrogatives, the questions, emphasising his shock and horror. Down in the context box there, you've got a little bit on infanticide, because infanticide was a real moral concern for Jacobean England. Infanticide is the killing of children, like Macduff has just happened to have to his family. And it is also quite closely linked with witchcraft, so quite an interesting point that you might want to make there if you're talking about the murder of Macduff's children.